I want to talk to you a little bit today about one of the most curious things that Mark Richt ever told me, and sort of the ramifications of that ever since. And this was, I've told this story a time or two. We were sitting, it was the spring of 2007. Matthew Stafford was going to be Georgia's quarterback for the first time starting full season. And Mark and I were sitting out just outside Butts-Mehre. It's actually where the indoor facility is now. And I asked him if, not knowing anything, I said, have you ever thought about changing your jerseys in any way? And he, as he usually did, took a second to think about it. And then he said, I want us, when people turn the TV on, I want them to know that it's us. And because at that point, Georgia had only really messed with their jerseys once, excuse me, yeah, twice in a given period of time, which was the 1998 Florida game, which looked awful, red tops and black bottoms, and the 1998, not the same season, 97 season, but the 1998 Outback Bowl, where they wore red hats, white tops, and black bottoms, and they messed around with the jersey a little bit for a Liberty Bowl, but that was just really the face mask more than anything. So right now, of course, at the time, and people may not know this, you have to order jerseys from Nike. You can't just rush the jerseys. And according to the contract that Georgia has with Nike, the any uniform that football wants has got to be ordered in the spring. So when Mark and I were having that conversation, he either knew that the black jerseys were on the way for that fall, and there's no way that what I was talking about triggered him to order black jerseys. But um, the other the other story that goes with those black jerseys is that the night before Georgia played Auburn in 2007, I went to go watch a recruit play. So that was AJ Harmon, who was at Jefferson County, and he and Fernando Velasco, who was also from there, were kind of good buddies. And Fernando was wanting him to come to Georgia. AJ Harmon was a big deal at the time. It was coming down to him at Georgia and Clemson, and he said, "If y'all wear the black jerseys, I will come to Georgia." That was what he was saying. Here's a good look at the jerseys. Okay, so this is an image I took from the Sugar Bowl, but Fernando, I do not think was on his official visit that day, but Jeremy Longo and Blair Walsh were. And the story goes that Georgia went out in red jerseys and came back into the locker room, and of course the whole time everybody, the whole school, had black jerseys on, which was had the fans had black on. It was crazy. And what happened then was they get back into the locker room, they turn the lights out, and when they come back and the lights come back on, I guess they knew something was happening, but there they were, the jerseys that Georgia would wear that day, the black jerseys, that kind of forever are remembered in Georgia history and Georgia lore. And that is the story of the black jerseys. But I want to talk about some of these nasty jerseys that Georgia's had over time, including their traditional jersey. So we're gonna start with the traditional white jersey, and this is something that this is a classic Georgia jersey. As you can see, red tops, excuse me, red hats, the white tops, silver breeches. Please don't tell me they're not silver. Silver breeches with the lining and so forth. The numerals have changed over time. The SEC logo has changed. Georgia's been a Nike school for more than 20 years at this point. Actually, almost 30 years, not quite 30 years. So that is the traditional white jersey. The traditional red jersey, which I will attempt to get to in a second here, It's as if I've never used this before. Um, the traditional red jersey. Look at me, I'm all over the place. The red jerseys, which I thought I had downloaded, but clearly have not. Oh, I know what I've done. The red jerseys are what you've always thought, right? I mean, they are the standard. Here, I'm just going to go with Brock Bowers because I have it. It just popped up. This is Georgia's standard red jersey. It's not a great image, but silver breeches, black cleats typically, red tops, red hats. Georgia, for whatever reason, and they've done this since Jake Fromm and possibly before, Georgia uses jersey footballs that have pink swooshes. I'm not sure why that is, but that is Georgia's traditional look. Here's Brock Bowers in white. Okay, running away from the Jackets. For years, Georgia Tech would not allow Georgia to wear their road jerseys, and all of a sudden, not Jeff Collins, has gotten very sensitive about the color red, and so he no longer allows that. But those are not the only jerseys Georgia's ever worn. We're going to look right now at the two worst jerseys Georgia's ever worn. This is 2009 Jacksonville. This is a terrible color scheme by everyone involved. I'm going to start with Georgia, but I'm getting to you, Florida. Don't you worry. First of all, red face mask, horrible. Black helmet, horrible. Black pants with this outfit, horrible. Black numerals. I mean, it looks really bad. The black numerals don't look so bad on the white, but when you've got this other black, it looks like a disaster. Please look at this. That is rough looking, man. But the Gators, not to be outdone, with too much blue, white shoes, which I don't know why Florida wears white shoes, but they do. And white shoes went out before I was in high school, man. Nobody wears white shoes. It's a bad look. You want black cleats, period. And yes, I'm lecturing. Let's wear black cleats, fellas. Uh, Now the second worst Georgia's ever had, probably the worst, actually. Excuse me, is this train wreck right here that I'm going to show you now. This is the 2011 Chick-fil-A opener against Boise. Boise's jersey is actually Boise's outfits look adequate compared to what Georgia's got on here. This is one of the few times Georgia has completely goofed with the uniform. At least with the image of Washaun Ely, that appears to be Georgia because of the helmet and the pants. The top is traditional Georgia. At least they have 1/3 of the uniform combination. With this one, they just threw it all in the trash and went with this train wreck. Georgia will not publish images of these jerseys, period. Like, that's a whole nother story for another time. But um, this was a moment in time at Georgia where Georgia wanted to play this game. They had to get out of another game, and when they played Boise, this was a made-for-TV game by the folks at Chick-fil-A and ESPN. Nike kicked in some money, and this is what you got. You got two Nike schools with some whacked-out jerseys. Fletcher Page and I had a lot of fun with this, trying to reveal the jerseys for Georgia. We had like rainbow unicorn combination. It was quite a bit of fun. Boise beat Georgia pretty solidly that night. I think it was 35-21. I don't like these jerseys. This is from the 1980 team. This is 2020 Stetson Bennett black cleats. Um, with the old school white top, obviously the red top, red helmet. They do not have the pink football there, but really this is the Herschel Walker jersey from at Tennessee. This jersey made an appearance after that as late as 1988. Actually, they lost to South Carolina on the road, and as Claude Felton told me, that's the last time we ever saw those jerseys with Vince Dooley. So. This game here, the Arkansas game, I'm gonna tell you right now, in 2020, at the half, I think they were losing 7-5. I thought they were gonna very possibly lose that game. Now, I should not have thought that, considering everything that I knew at the time, I guess. Arkansas was not a good team. But that outfit that Stetson's got on right here, this is the, um, how do you say, I don't think we're ever going to see this uniform again. Okay. And I don't think we're ever going to see this uniform again. I think it came and went, and we're not going to see it again. Listen, this is Georgia's traditional uniform. This red, excuse me, this yellow, this white uniform. Georgia, this season 2021. They used their red jerseys in fewer games than I believe they ever have in school history. I would have to go back and look. 2015 was when they wore it more times than ever, but with the exception of the home games, Georgia was the road team in every single game they played, which means the national championship game, the game against Michigan, the game against the Gators, the game against Clemson. Georgia Tech, they often wear red. They wore white because Jeff, whatever his last name has got his feelings hurt about it. You can see from DAWGSTRUCTION that Clemson was the designated home team, not by crowd but by color. So Georgia wore white more than they ever have, if my math is correct, in 2021. Make sure that you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. I am probably going to have to order books this week, which means I'm running out of them right now. Make sure you're ordering them. I did want to revisit the time with Mark Richt. I mean, I had a lot of good conversations with Mark through the years. A year ago, I had a conversation with him about 9/11 and his memories of that, and that's over on Dog Post. I'd encourage you to check that out too. But Mark wanted to when Georgia was playing on television, which was less frequently then, he wanted people to know that Georgia was on TV, and that's why uh, I remember that conversation so much because 6 months later, I can't remember if I was. It was the off season for sure. I can't remember if it was in April or in the summer, because April he could have still ordered the jersey. But I remember very specifically asking him, "Have you ever thought about changing the jersey in any way?" And he said, "No. I want people to know it's Georgia." And Kirby's not changed it. I mean, that 1980 remembrance thing, that was again a one-off. Now, you could that's the only time that season in 2021, I believe 2020, excuse me, is the only time Georgia has ever worn four uniform combinations, because remember in 2007 they only wore three tops. In 2001, they didn't wear black. In 2006, they wore three uniform combinations. In 2009, when they did the trick with Florida, they only wore three uniform combinations. In 2011, they only wore three uniform combinations. Almost all the time, they only wear two uniform combinations. 2020, which almost didn't exist, was a very different moment for Georgia. They wore four uniform combinations: a 1980 special, their home team, excuse me, their home jerseys, their away jerseys, and then their black jerseys against Cincinnati, because Gary Stokan at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl really wanted both teams in dark colors. He likes the way it looks on TV. Yeah, I'm not saying he's wrong either, by the way. Georgia and Florida should consider going back to their traditional home jerseys for that game every year. But hey, I'm just me. That's what I think.